岡部倫太郎さん。はじめまして、牧瀬クリスです。どうぞよろしく。
I couldn't respond at all. Something felt slightly off about the way Kurisu moved on the screen. But it was really slight. I'd get used to it soon. More importantly, the voice and the way she spoke were exactly like the real Kurisu. I almost cried. And it was all I could do to stop from breaking down.
先輩、そちらは深夜というわけではないですよね。
The camera on the PC switched from me to Maho.
ええ、違うけれどなぜ？
お二人とももしかして眠いのではないかと。
Was she talking about the fact that I didn't respond to her introduction?
私はさっきまで寝ていたけれど、今はもうしゃっきり目が覚めているわ。
だらしないのは相変わらずですね。
失礼なことを言わないで。
では先輩、もう一つ質問しても？
ええ、何？
岡部倫太郎さんとはどういう関係ですか？
この前の ATF セミナーに参加してくれた学生よ。なかなか研究熱心だと思ったから連れてきたの。
Maho decided not to tell Amadeus that I was a friend of Kurisu before she died. Why, I wonder? Did she not want Amadeus to find out? Or was I supposed to tell her myself?
へえ、先輩にそう言われるなんて大したものですね。
The Kurisu on the screen turned to me and smiled.
その
Calm down.
岡部さん、専攻はやはり脳科学ですか？
それは
The words got stuck in my throat. I said calm down. You know this is just a program. Her words, her appearance, even all the conversations she's having with you right now, they're all artificial. But even though I knew that, I still couldn't speak. I had no idea what to say. And more than that, the words nice to meet you hit me harder than I thought they would. This wasn't the Kurisu I spent those 3 weeks with. Maho had told me this ahead of time, and I thought I understood it. But hearing it for myself hurt more than I imagined. I regretted not taking my anxiety meds, but it was too late now. My heart rate soared and my breathing became irregular. My head was spinning and the corners of my vision were beginning to dim. At some point my lips had gone totally dry.
どうかしました？岡部さん。
Kurisu sounded worried. That voice software must be pretty good if it can handle nuances like that.
彼の専攻は脳科学ではないわ。だけど私たちの研究にとても興味があるんですって。
そうなんですか。
レスキネン教授も気に入ってるみたいだし、いずれは私の助手にでもしてやろうかと思っているところよ。
My head snapped up in surprise at Maho's bizarre statement. Me? Maho's assistant? Then I'd go to Victor Condria University?
あら、お気に召さない？
お気に召すとか召さないとかそういう問題じゃなくて。
ま、冗談だけれどね。
Oh.
冗談？
もしかして本気にした？
信じちゃいない。
I wasn't going to tell her that I almost did.
そう。でも、もっともっと勉強してくれれば、あながち冗談じゃなくなるかもしれないわよ。
仮にそうだとしても、レスキネン教授の助手がいい。
This was my way of getting back at her.
教授の助手って思っている以上に大変よ。あの方は本当に子供だから。
As she spoke, she quietly came over next to me and tapped me on the arm a few times. I see, so that was it. She was making a joke to try and calm me down.
悪かった。ありがとう。
何のことかしら？
I didn't think subtlety was her thing. Maybe I was wrong?
先輩、ちょっと。
Kurisu beckoned to Maho from within the screen in a very human manner.
何？
もうちょっとこっち。スピーカーに寄ってください。
Maho moved her ear close to the speaker. I was just thinking about how weird it was when...
Huh?
Maho suddenly turned bright red and shouted at the screen.
そんなわけないでしょ。何を言ってるのあなた。
そんなに照れなくても。
照れてるわけじゃないわ。とにかくおかしなことを言うのはやめて。
そうですか？
そうです。
一体何の話を？
It was obvious that Kurisu had whispered something to Maho. What did she say? Maho glanced at me. And for some reason, she blushed and turned away. Ah, I see. From the way Maho was acting and what I knew about Kurisu, there was only one possibility.
このスイーツかっこ笑いね。
Yes. Mainstream woman. Pejorative term used to refer to girls who are easily influenced by trends, or think in ways that men find impossible to understand. However, it is said that the only people who use it often are boys who have very little experience with women. I whispered a name I'd often tease Kurisu with, and suddenly felt a lot better. She must have said something stupid like, "You two make a good couple, or you finally found a man, huh?" The way she looked at a boy and girl holding a friendly conversation and immediately assumed they were dating was just like the Kurisu I knew. Sheesh, what a system. It didn't need to be that true to her personality, did it? I chuckled. Do you think this Kurisu also browses @channel when Maho and the professor aren't looking too? @channel. Fictional. A huge anonymous message board that's the largest of its kind in Japan. Its catchphrases everything from hacking to tonight's dinner, and its boards discuss everything from underground topics to normal news. Nah, knowing her, she's probably commenting. I remember Kurisu once browsed @channel on the Future Gadget Laboratory's computer when she knew nobody else was around.
ちょっと入ってくるときはノックぐらいしてよ。
クリスティーナ、お前はやるべきことをサボって何を見ていた？
Has that always been Kurisu's artwork? She looks a little bit different. I'll have to go back and look. It's been it's been a few years. Not really a few years, but it's been like a year or so. So I don't remember if that's what her artwork used to look like or not.
おい、そのこれはひどい。はいはい、ワロスワラスみたいな笑い方はなんだ？
Ruffle? Ruffle? Rolling on the floor laughing. Other variants include lol, Ruffle Mao, and Rufflecopter.
案ずるなクリスティーナ。いや、アットチャンネラークリス。
その呼び方はやめて。
俺はすでに気づいていた。そう、とっくに気づいていたのだ。お前からアットチャンネラーとしての匂いのようなものがプンプンと醸し出されていた。
失礼だな。ちゃんと毎日香りがきつくなる香水つけてるぞ。
そう そういう意味ではない。俺が言っているのは魂レベルだ。だが隠そうとするとはいじらしいな。アットチャンネラークリス。
Okabe, your weeaboo showing.
その名で呼ぶな。
Your soul's power level, huh? My silly remark seemed to me to have a much deeper meaning now. Was the girl in front of me one day going to, as Dr. Leskinen had said, become a real artificial soul? When that happened, what were we supposed to call a soul that still existed in this world after the body was gone? Not dead or alive, but something in between. This wasn't science anymore. This was philosophy. Or maybe a religion. The zombies!
バカな話はここまでにしましょう。岡部さんだってこんな中身のないことを聞きたくて来たわけではないわ。
そうやってごまかすところがますます怪しいですね。
ウイルスをぶち込むわよ。
嘘です。もう言いません。
Kurisu quickly bowed her head. I bet back when Kurisu was still alive, she had conversations like this with Maho every day. I'm sure Dr. Leskinen had a lot of fun watching them. It was actually kind of cute.
お騒がせしてごめんなさい、岡部さん。彼女と何か話してみる？
ああ。
Maho offered me the seat in front of the PC. Kurisu's face was on the monitor right in front of me. When our eyes met, she smiled a little. I didn't know she reacted like this to people when she first met them. But my meeting with Kurisu went about as badly as it possibly could have. I realized that her prickly attitude towards me could have been unusual for her.
どんなことでも聞いてください。可能な範囲でお答えしますから。
そうだな。
This wasn't good. I was remembering every moment I'd ever spent with Kurisu. I couldn't think of what to say. And then the words that came out of my mouth were,
タイムマシンは作れるだろうか。
That was what I'd once argued with Kurisu on another world line. In the end, I'd lost the argument completely.
はい？
え？
タイムマシーンですか？
何の話を始めるのかと思ったらいきなり。
ただのテストだよ。思考実験ができるかどうかっていう。
どうクリス？
そうですね。結論から言ってしまうとタイムマシンは可能ではない。けれど不可能とまでは言い切れないといったところでしょうか。
That wasn't what she said.
最初に結論を言ってしまうとタイムマシンなんていうのは馬鹿らしい代物だということです。
That's what Kurisu had said in the Alpha World line. I remembered that well.
俺はタイムマシンなんてバカらしい代物だと思うけどな。
I remembered our old debate and decided to repeat what Kurisu had said then.
そう決めつけるのは早計ですよ。
そうかな。確かに世界中の科学者がタイムトラベル理論を提唱している。主な理論だけで11あるが、どれも仮説の域を出ない。しかも理論同士が矛盾し否定し合っているものまである。
ええ。
例えば宇宙紐理論やワームホール理論。これらは思考実験としてはタイムトラベルを可能にするが、そもそも宇宙紐だのエキゾチック物質だの、どこからどう探してくればいいのか見当もつかない。つまり現実的ではない。
This was also something that Kurisu had told me in the Alpha World line. But the Kurisu in the screen was unmoved.
それは 科学者がまだ重大な何かを発見できていないからでしょうね。
それじゃあ君はタイムマシンをいつか作れると思っているのか？
不可能とまでは言い切れない、そう言いましたよ。
Yeah. Her opinion was slightly different. Was this because I was in the beta world line? Or perhaps...
なあ、ヒアジョーさん。彼女は自分がオリジナルの記憶から派生した存在だということは認識しているんだよな。
もちろん。
じゃあ、うまい例が思いつかないんだが、一卵性ソーセージみたいなことはあるのか？生まれた時は見分けがつかない。だが育つにつれて差異が出てくるとか、そういうことを。
それについてはまだ検証中だけれど、蓄積されていく記憶が異なれば当然元の人間とは違うものになっていくと思うわ。私と教授はそう考えている。
そっか。
It was then that I heard the door on the other side of the partition slam shut.
教授かしら？
あの大きな足音はそうじゃないでしょうか。
I could definitely hear someone stomping around outside. And then after a heavy knock, the door to the booth flung open.
リンタロー
Oh gosh. That spelling is amazing. Lintalo. The professor opened his arms wide as he came inside. He grabbed my head and began to wave it around. I hadn't realized he was this friendly. He seemed to think he was giving me a handshake, but it felt like I was being worked over by a pro wrestler.
Hey boy, what's up?
This is Dr. Leskinen supposed to be like stereotypical American guy? I think that's what he's supposed to be here.
I'm fine, thank you, and you?
This is a thank you?
岡部さん、ひどい英語ですね。
黙れクリスティーナ。
クリスティーナ？
Oh no. I was so focused on the professor that I used my old nickname for her.
なんでもない。気にしないでくれ。
気になります。なんで私がクリスティーナなんですか？
だからなんでもないというのに。
なんでもない割には動揺してますよね。
しつこいぞクリスティン。クリス。
Kurisu and Maho both seemed lost in thought.
クリスティーナって呼んでいたのね。
君もそこに食いつくな。
I didn't want any more questions about this. Since the professor was here, I decided to ask more about how Amadeus' memories work.
教授、アマデウスの記憶を外部から改ざんすることは可能なんですか？
But the professor wasn't listening to my question. He seemed to be frantically searching his pockets for something. Come to think of it, I didn't see that translator device on his ear. He must have been looking for it, which meant odds were good he didn't even hear my question.
私の記憶の改ざんですか？理論上は可能です。
Kurisu herself answered in the professor's place.
例えば、私が自分の名前をクリスティーナであると思い込む。そうしも、ただ普通のデータと違い、記憶データはとても複雑です。今のところ改ざんに成功した例はないと認識しています。仮に改ざんに成功した場合でも、私がそれに気づいて自分で修復してしまうでしょう。私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っていますから。つまり秘密の日記ですね。その日記と現在の記憶との間に不自然な齟齬があれば、私は高い確率で疑問を抱きます。 さらに言えば、私の記憶データは定期的にバックアップされています。自己修復が不能なほどに改ざんされたとしても復旧することが可能なんですよ。最終バックアップから改ざんされた時点までの記憶はなくなってしまいますが。
そうか。
Regardless of the topic of discussion, it felt strange. What Maho had said before she loaded Kurisu was true. I was starting to feel like I was chatting with the real Kurisu. The way she wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise once she started talking about science was exactly like the real Kurisu.
しかし興味深いな。
I turned towards Kurisu and spoke.
君は自分のことを機械として客観的に語ることができている。小説や漫画でよくあるパターンだと、自分は機械ではない人間だとか言い出しそうなものだが。
それは全くナンセンスですね。人間そのものが自分をハードウェアとソフトウェアの組み合わせとして語るじゃありませんか。医学とか心理学とかそういう名においてね。それとどこが違うんです？
なるほど。
さすがへりくつなら誰にも負けないわね、この子。
When she heard this, Kurisu turned towards Maho, her CG eyes big and round, as though it was really just the camera sensor moving.
ねえ先輩、余計なお世話かもしれませんけど、口が悪いのを少し直した方がいいですよ。せっかく春が来そうなのに嫌われたらどうするんです？
だからその話に戻るのはやめなさい。
けど私にとっては今一番興味があります。
一番どうでもいいことでしょ、そんなの。
これが人生最後のチャンスだったらどうするんですか？
あなたこそその口を改めなさい。
My robot laughter! Dr. Leskinen was clapping his hands together and laughing. I had to chuckle a little too. Afterwards, the three of us, including the professor, talked to Kurisu, discussing technical subjects and making small talk. The next thing I knew, it had been almost an hour. I actually felt a little sad when Maho told me it was time to stop. In just a single hour, the strangeness I'd felt about Amadeus had disappeared, and I felt like I was really talking to Kurisu. Dr. Leskinen stopped me before I left.
テストをやる気はあるかな？
I tilted my head when I heard the professor speak through the translator.
エムテウスにはタヤ散歩が少なくてね、うちの研究室の子たちを総動員してはいるのだけれどね。
とはいえアマデウスはまだ研究段階だし、誰彼構わず接触させるわけにもいかないわ。
そこでクリスの友人だったリンターロに
リンタ
ぜひ
ーロ
とも協力してほしいんだ。
I remembered they'd mentioned something about being a tester at the party. So this is what they were talking about.
私と教授はしばらく日本に滞在する予定なの。だからテスターをお願いするのはその間ということになるわね。あなたにしてもらいたいのはとにかくクリスと対話を重ねてもらうこと。具体的なノルマのようなものは特にないわ。気が向いたら話をするぐらいでいい。ただ月に2回程度は私と教授にテスト経過の報告をしてほしいの。
それと申し訳ないけれど報酬は出せないんだ。そこも含めて考えてみてほしい。
The intern position, my favorite.
俺は
亡くした友人をそっくりそのまま再現した AI と話をさせる。それは君にとってとても残酷なことだとは理解しているつもりだよ。乗り気でないのなら断ってくれていいからね。
I remembered what it had felt like to talk to Kurisu. When the monitor was just about to turn off, This is what Kurisu had said. Let's talk again sometime, Rintaro Okabe. That's what I'd hoped for when I came here, wasn't it?
やります。やらせてください。
I thought I was ready when I accepted the job. But I'd never expected this. There was an incoming call on my smartphone. What are smartphones? I don't even know. A term used to describe phones that appeared around the year 2010 that are capable of email, scheduling, net browsing, and other advanced capabilities. The introduction of smartphones with advanced touchscreens has caused most analysts to expect the market for these items to undergo explosive growth. I've never heard this whole theme of the smartphone so far, or this phone anyway. I usually don't let it go for more than about 5 seconds anyway. I trembled. There had been quite a few today, and I'd kept ignoring them all. I felt like I couldn't keep ignoring them forever. Alright, let's take a listen.
はい。
マキセですけど。
Kurisu was displayed on the screen. Yes, it was Amadeus. The app the professor had given me had allowed me to access the servers at Victor Condria University from anywhere, 24 hours a day. Let's learn about apps. Short for application software, any software that can be used by downloading it to your OS. Glad we learned that.
岡部さんからクリスの方へ呼びかけることができるのはもちろんだけれど、クリスの方からあなたに呼びかけてくることもあるから、その時はうまく対応して。
This I hadn't predicted. I never thought she would call me, or that her face would be displayed on the screen.
それともクリスティーナですけどって自己紹介した方が良かったですか？
She looked really mad. I could guess why. I'd gotten 8 calls from Kurisu and I had ignored them all.
事情はレスキネン教授や先輩から聞いています。だから最初に一言こちらから挨拶しようと思っていたんですが、まさか8回もイルスを使われるとは思いませんでした。なんで黙ってるんですか？
Talking to a realistic girl on my smartphone with so many people around. It was pretty embarrassing.
まあ、話す気がないならそれはそれでいいんですが。なんなのよ。せっかくいつも以上に人と話せるチャンスだと思ってたのに。バカみたいじゃない。たく。いずれにせよ、テスト中は私はあなたといつでもつながっていますから。気が向いたらどうぞ連絡してきてください。こっちも忙しいので、あなたの連絡にいつも出れるかどうかわかりませんけど。
Man, what is this? More than that strangely polite, friendly Kurisu from yesterday. Angry. Stubborn. More curious than anyone. The way she seemed to be constantly challenging you.
それでは、お邪魔しました。
I realized that this really was Makise Kurisu. That was the girl I'd spent those 3 weeks with. Lab member 004, my assistant Christina, aka Makise Kurisu. Her movements were a little more jerky than I'd seen on the computer in Dr. Leskinen's office. But evidently that was because of the smartphone.
俺は
This alone was enough to make me feel like my heart was being squeezed dry. I stood still, holding the smartphone tight.
じゃなかった。オカリン、どうしたにゃ？
ああ、今行く。
I thought to myself as I ran to catch up with the others. Maybe Dr. Leskinen was right, and this test would be a very cruel thing for me. But even so, in my mind, I was already starting to think about what I would talk about with Kurisu. Maho Hiajo was remembering. She was remembering the last night she'd spoken to Kurisu Makise in person. Anyway, I think we'll pick up with Kurisu next time. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time for Steins Gate 0. Bye!